Have you ever felt disconnected, even in a room full of people? Not because you're shy, not because you're arrogant, but because something inside you longs for more depth, more clarity, more peace. If small talk feels draining, if loud gatherings exhaust you, if solitude feels more honest than a party ever could, you're not broken. You might just be walking the quiet path of deeper thought, the path walked by Stoics and thinkers throughout history. Today, we're diving into 7 reasons why intelligent people often hate socializing, and why it's not a flaw, it's freedom. Some people enter a room and feel alive in the chatter. Others feel like they're drowning in noise. If you've ever looked around and thought, "Why are we talking about this?" you're not alone. Intelligent minds don't feed on gossip or trending drama. They hunger for meaning, ideas that stretch the soul, conversations that linger long after they end. They're the ones who'd rather talk about the nature of the mind than the weather, who'd rather explore the psychology of a choice than recap who said what. And silence? It's not awkward to them, it's truthful. As Epictetus said, first learn the meaning of what you say, then speak. To these minds, stepping away from empty talk isn't rude, it's a quiet form of integrity. To some, time is just a calendar to fill. But to the intelligent, time is sacred, something you don't just spend, you protect. That's why endless social events, small talk, and meaningless obligations feel like theft. It's not that they hate people, it's that they value time too deeply to waste it. They'd rather spend 1 hour reading something that shifts their mindset than 5 hours trying to survive a loud room with no purpose. Seneca once said, "It's not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." To them, life isn't measured by how full the schedule is. It's measured by how full the moment feels. And they choose meaning over momentum every single time. Have you ever noticed that the quietest person in the room is often the one who sees the most? Intelligent people don't rush to fill the silence. They study it. They read between the lines, watching body language, tone shifts, micro-expressions. They listen for what's not being said just as much as what is. While others compete to speak, they choose to understand. And often, they don't respond unless it truly adds value. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You always have the option of having no opinion." This isn't passivity, it's power. They're not disengaged. They're deeply present, just tuned into a different frequency. Not noise, but nuance. Some people will protect their money, others their reputation. But the wise? They protect their peace like it's the most valuable thing they own, because it is. Crowded rooms, loud egos, fake smiles. These aren't just uncomfortable. They're spiritually expensive. Intelligent people, especially Stoic minds, are emotionally tuned. They feel tension before words are even spoken. And when a space feels off, chaotic, performative, toxic, they don't argue, they exit. Not because they're scared, but because they're disciplined. As Epictetus said, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Sometimes the smartest thing you can do is walk away from what disturbs your soul. Some people walk into a room hoping to be liked. Others walk in already knowing who they are. Intelligent minds don't chase applause. They're not wired for popularity, they're wired for principle. Trends, status, and social games don't excite them, they exhaust them. They don't care who's admired this week or who said what online. Why? Because they've done the inner work. They no longer need a room full of strangers to confirm their worth. As Marcus Aurelius once asked, the approval of such men who do not even stand well in their own eyes how can it be worth seeking? When your self-worth comes from within, the noise outside loses all power. Some people fear being alone, but the wise? They fear losing themselves in the noise of the crowd. For them, solitude isn't a void, it's a sanctuary. A place not of emptiness, but of expansion. They read not just to learn, but to travel across centuries. They write not to impress, but to hear their soul speak. They walk not to get somewhere, but to arrive in the present moment. The Stoics believed that true strength is found within. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." In a world that glorifies noise, they find joy in stillness. And in that stillness, they find themselves. If you've ever felt more yourself in silence than in a room full of voices, if parties leave you empty and being alone leaves you whole, let me say this clearly, you are not broken. You're just walking a different path, not louder, but deeper. Not lonely, just intentional. While the world chases noise, you're listening for meaning. While many seek to be seen, you're seeking to understand. And yes, the world might misread your silence. They may call it cold, distant, strange, but only you know the peace that grows in that quiet space. So stay grounded, stay true, because in a world addicted to attention, the rarest act of courage is to chase truth instead. Let's be clear, choosing solitude isn't about rejecting the world. It's about honoring your own rhythm. When quiet spaces bring you peace, that's not a flaw. That's you living with intention. Silence isn't weakness. It's where real growth begins, where ideas are born, where your values, not the crowd, shape who you become. So if the noise around you feels too loud, it's okay to step back. Not to hide, but to listen more deeply to yourself. In a world obsessed with attention, be the one who seeks truth. If this resonates with you, you're not alone. Hit that subscribe button for more Stoic wisdom in a noisy world. And I'd love to hear from you. What brings you more peace, solitude, or socializing? Let's talk in the comments below. Let's be clear, choosing solitude isn't about rejecting the world. It's about honoring your own rhythm. When quiet spaces bring you peace, that's not a flaw. That's you living with intention. Silence isn't weakness. It's where real growth begins. Where ideas are born. Where your values, not the crowd, shape who you become. So if the noise around you feels too loud, it's okay to step back. Not to hide, but to listen more deeply to yourself. In a world obsessed with attention, be the one who seeks truth. If this resonates with you, you're not alone. Hit that subscribe button for more Stoic wisdom in a noisy world. And I'd love to hear from you. What brings you more peace, solitude, or socializing? Let's talk in the comments below.